Okay, so today we're going to be talking about comparing and order rational numbers. So in your notebook, this should be on page 52. Okay, so what is a rational number? A rational number is going to be any number that can be written as a fraction. Okay, so rational number that can be written as a fraction in simplest form. This includes, when we're talking about rational numbers, this includes integers, and remember integers is a set of all whole numbers and their opposites, including 0. Fractions, repeating decimals, and terminating. That's an ing, terminating decimals. Okay? Alright, so what are integers? Remember, integers are the set of all numbers, whole numbers, and their opposites, including 0. So, can be written as a fraction simply by giving it a denominator of 1. So, for example, 4, positive 4, I can write that as a fraction because I can put a 1 under it. Negative 2, I can write that as a fraction because I can put a 1 under it. Okay, so integers are rational. Terminating decimals, okay? When you think of a terminate, to terminate something is to stop it, to end. So put end. It's going to end, okay? At some point, the number is going to end. It's going to stop. So it can be written as a fraction simply by writing it the way you would read it, okay? So put in here, read, R-E-A-D, read. So for example, 52 hundredths, okay? Well, 52 hundredths, you would read it as 52 hundredths, which means 52 over 100. Okay, so you would read it as it is. When you're talking about repeating decimals are going to be written as a fraction using algebraic methods, and we will talk about a little bit more about that in class. But usually the denominators, if you have a repeating decimal, the denominators are going to be 9, 99, and 999. Okay, so if you see a fraction with a denominator of 999 or 999, it will be a repeating decimal. So for example, 1/9 is going to be, I'm going to put the little squiggly lines, okay, which is going to be 0.11111 repeating forever, okay? And if you wanted to write that repeating notation, it would be point, and then 1 has the line over it because 1 is repeating. All right. Again, we will talk a little bit more about repeating decimals and some other how you can tell if it's repeating or not. Okay. So usually repeating numbers, or repeating decimals rather, are going to be the same number that's going to be written over again. Okay. So which ones are rational numbers? All right. So 0 is a rational number because it's a whole number. Negative 6 is a negative number. That's rational. This number right here, that is not a rational number because it doesn't end. It looks like it goes on and on. It doesn't stop. It's not terminating. And it's not repeating because none of the same numbers repeat over and over again. Okay? What that really is called, and to see if you really watch this video, if you can tell me that this kind of value is an example of irrational number, then I know that you watched the video, by the way. So this type of number is an irrational number. Okay, but our focus is really rational number. Alright? So this number 7 repeating is a rational number because it repeats over and over. The 7 repeats, so we're going to circle it. 5 1/4. It's got a fraction with it, and we know that 1/4 is 25 hundredths, so 5 1/4 is a rational number. 2 5/10 is a rational number because it ends. It doesn't go on and on forever. This one here goes on and on forever, but nothing repeats and doesn't end. And again, that is what we call an irrational number. Okay? And then pi, let me write this a little bigger. Pi is associated with, when you're talking about pi, think of circles, okay, like a shape of a pie. Pi is actually, the value of pi, you know that a value of pi is 4.14, or 3.14, and it goes on forever ever. Well, it doesn't repeat and it doesn't stop. So pi actually is one of those irrational numbers. So I'm not circling pi. Pi is not rational, so I'm not circling it. It's an irrational number, okay? Alright, so how do you get from fractions, decimals, and percents? So same way as I said to you before, how to convert fractions, decimals, percent. It's the same thing as negative numbers, alright? So negative 5/8, alright, is going to be the same thing as saying in a decimal, going to be 6 25 hundredths, okay? And if you're not sure how to get something in a fraction into a decimal, you just have to divide the top divided by the bottom. So the bottom, or the top number should be in the box, and the bottom number should be outside. And then I'm just going to divide just like normal, and I should get, okay, 625. Bring down your 0 right here, okay? If you're not sure, it's a negative, alright? And then the percent, how do you get a percent, a decimal into a percent, is you need to move your decimal 2 places over to the right. So I'm taking my decimal 1, 2 to the right, and I'm going to end up with negative 62 5/10%. Okay? So if you're not sure how to do your conversions, fraction, percent, decimals, you might want to look over your fraction, decimal, percent foldable that should have been on page 49 in your notebook. So same way to convert negative values is the same way as we did before positive values. So on your own, you need to go ahead and find these two right here on your own. So I want, excuse my writing here, that doesn't go there. So 85 hundredths, okay, what's that into a fraction, okay? And with 85 hundredths, what's that into a percent? And don't forget that they're both negatives. Same thing with the 205%. Get that into a fraction and a decimal. So you need to make sure you fill in these blank spaces. This is a fraction. This is supposed to be a percent. This is a fraction. Make sure it's negative. This is a decimal. So I'm looking for 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces to be filled in this section of your notes. Okay? Alright, so let's take a look. And again, just to remind you, you can either stop the video now and do these problems, or, you know, do the video and then when you're done with the video, go back to these problems and do them and fill this part in. So comparing rational numbers, okay? So when you're comparing rational numbers, I'm talking about less than, greater than, or equal to, you want to convert the decimals first, okay? Convert to decimals first. So whether it's a fraction or percent, put it all into decimals. Convert each fraction in percent to a decimal, okay? Line up the decimals and add zeros if necessary, just the same way as we've done it before, okay, when we're ordering and comparing decimals. Use place value to compare. Positive numbers are always larger than negative numbers. When comparing two negative numbers, the larger the negative number, the smaller the value. So that means the further away from 0 it is. So the larger the negative number is, the smaller it is. Smaller value it is. So think about money. Would you rather owe me $2.50, or do you want to owe me 225 cents? Well, you would rather owe me 225 25 cents because you owe me less money in that way, okay? If you think you owe me $250, you're owing me more money, okay? So number 1, again, convert this into a decimal. Well, 60% in a decimal, move it twice, 1, 2, is 6/10, which is negative. Well, do you want to owe me 60 cents, or would you rather owe me 30 cents? Well, you rather owe me 30 cents, so 3/10, negative 3/10 is greater, okay? How about this one here? Would you rather owe me, alright, here's my place value, okay, so the 5 is the same as a whole number. What's different is the 9 in the hundreds place. So do you want to owe me 92 cents, or do you want to owe me 80 cents? Well, you rather owe me 80 cents, okay? So this value is closer to 0, negative 5 and 8 hundredths, okay? And then you want to owe me 6 hundredths, or you got to get this into a decimal, so move it over 12.01, okay? And then you would have 3 decimal places here, and then you would probably just want to add this extra one here, so it's 3 decimals each. Would you rather owe me 19? Think money. 19 cents or 60 cents? Well, you rather owe me the 19 cents. So this one would be closer to 0. Okay? So on your own, I want you to try, I want you to try these 3 right here. Okay? Remember to convert your percents and your fractions into decimals. Okay? Then compare. Right? Right? So try those on your own. So this is going to conclude this portion of the notes. So again, go back and fill in the ones that I want you to try on your own, and then we'll talk about them and check how you did on when we talk about in class. Okay? All right. And then this side over here, we're going to talk about in class. Okay? Ordering irrational numbers we'll get to in class. Okay?